Moretown Selectboard is Monday, April 7th. Here at John Hogan Meeting Room. For you, John, we'll go ahead and we're public comment. So I know a couple people, first we have Pam Byers. She was coming on one of the vacancy we had in the library. What is move up, Pam, maybe just scooch up and tell us anything you want about yourself and what you'd like us to do.
I would like you to appoint me to the library trustees, the board of trustees. And I've lived in Moretown for a long time, raised kids here,
Nice.
have kids that come back, that came back to raise their kids here.
Wow.
And so yeah, a couple of them from California came back, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And Lisa has a business in town, and you know, Jack and I are just old retired people now, so.
Good for you.
I love the library, I love Corey, I've volunteered to, help out when they can't be there, so I know a little bit about the workings of it. I know very little bit about what it means to be on board of trustees, except that somebody trusts me to do something. To oversee.
We will trust
To oversee,
you. We will trust you.
well, yeah, oversee the, I don't know.
The governance of the.
Yeah, the library, the fundraising.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're in just a good situation. The library there is great. Corey does a great job. People that volunteer and work there. And I think, more, it's nice. You've been around and seen things and
Yeah.
have some new ideas as well. So I would certainly move to appoint Pam Byers to vacant library trustee position.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll make
Mr.
a
Faces to names that
Aye.
Yeah,
Aye. All right, you're officially a trustee. So I will send you a vest and hand out for that position.
Thank you very much.
And then we have in the back row, who's Carol, coming from the zoning administrator position, I believe.
So I'm here because I was working with Sherilyn today to get the paperwork ready to apply for that EWP grant, stream dredging, the is what they call it.
Yep.
And we looked back at the minutes and realized there'd never been a formal, it's okay to go ahead and apply for this. So there are two sites. There's the one kind of at the bottom of Edge Drive along Route 2. I don't even know what that street is called at this point. Bottom of Edge Road going west.
Okay.
So where the water that washed out Edge Road flows to.
That whole, where the guy lives up above there in the white house.
Right, but it's not really that driveway, it's the waterway below, like downstream from that.
And all that debris that filled right down there, yeah.
And then there's the Crossett Brook behind the Cobb Hill Road houses that were impacted. So the Route 2 people are pretty gung ho to do this. They've also got an engineer doing some other work. I'm not sure how it's all going to pan out. That's also the buyout stuff, so we're not sure how it's all going to pan out. And the Cobb Hill folks aren't 100% sure how they're going to pull the match together. But my understanding of the whole program is go ahead and apply for it. They'll do the engineering work. Of course, this is all dependent on what kind of funding is still coming down through NRCS. And then at any point, if for some reason the property owners say, oh no, we can't chip in, or no, we can pull out at any point. But the goal is to get this in, to get it going. Friday's the deadline, so we just want to get the paperwork in. It's all ready to go. Just need your approval. Go ahead and submit.
Certainly, I think I would have some questions at some point, just liability for the town. I think with all these kind of grant, sometimes we need to make sure that we get assurance from those homeowners if we're paying, there's going to be reimbursement there. But we'll go ahead and I would move to go ahead and let's pursue this. And then, answer those questions as
They've kind of
they come
given me
up.
some templates, one second.
Yeah, actually, is there a second? Any further discussion?
Yeah, they've given me some templates,
If you're keeping it on.
they've given me some templates for getting agreements with homeowners to ensure that the payments come through, and we'll work with that, and we'll work with them to make sure.
Yeah. Good.
And then it's all, obviously all dependent also on what state approval for how it's done. And
Yeah,
the
yeah, the
engineers
state
and the
folks will need to get involved, because
Yeah.
they'll be the ones who make that final determination of how much
what can actually be done
removed from.
in the water,
Yeah. But we won't know any of that till we submit this and get.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
All right.
Yeah, you got it, Kurt.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks, thank you, Kurt. Chris, did you have anything for public comment?
I don't.
We just checked the agency, anyone, and we are in our time, go ahead and, so, if you don't mind, we're gonna go ahead and go into, executive session for, town term discussions. Is there seconds?
Second.
Thank you, any further discussion on it? All in favor, vote aye. Aye. So the board and Ron,
You should make the finding and the reason for going into,
say again?
you should make the finding and the reason you're going into executive session.
Discussion of pending litigation between the town of Moretown versus Piazza
Yeah, and that premature.
in premature public, where's the, yeah, here? What's that?
What do you want?
Yeah, right here. And, yeah, premature public,
So we just come back at 6:30 is
What?
the guideline would be to come back at 6:30.
we have confidential attorney consultations made for the purpose
So it says
of
on the-
professional.
So quite a few.
No,
I don't think I use my big term.
we all set? Sandy, you all set to go?
You're on.
All right,
Okay,
so
thank
we're
you.
moving out of executive session, we're taking no action. So let's go ahead and move on. We've got the great Chris from the Recreation Committee here tonight. Chris, what you got?
Hello, yeah, so here, primarily I got two things. So one is, we would like to, on behalf of the rec committee and our motion, we maybe like to purchase, goals for soccer nets, essentially. And
I think we have those in the budget, right?
they're in the budget, we have 1,400 in the line item for the budget. When we met and talked about it in January, we had talked about that number and whether it was enough. In this room, and we talked about not being cheap and getting better ones. And then I went back and basically I went, after that meeting, I went to the soccer coaches in the valley, which is Sully, I don't even know like their name, Sully.
Dan's on it.
Bear.
Yeah, I think Dan's.
Yeah, Sully, yeah. And we looked for like free goals, and opinions on goals. And I went and looked at the goals on Airport Road, and basically we thought we should get a 3-inch post on the front and a 2-inch aluminum, 3-inch aluminum and a 2-inch steel backings, and not get the skinnier ones because they'll last longer. They're around $4,000, but the guy was willing to hold the quote we gave us last fall, which was looked down at like under $2,400, so it's $2,387 or something like that.
2387.99.
Yeah.
And include the tariffs or anything like that?
No, that hasn't come up. I can't help but think we don't buy them now. It would be more expensive in a year. And I thought about that because of the grant program that we're eligible for with the rec district,
Mhm.
which would kick in this fall. But actually, I was just reading their minutes from their last meeting a couple weeks ago, and they want us to apply for grants. And perhaps we can apply for a grant for something we've just purchased. So if we don't have other ideas.
Or something we can switch that off, so yeah.
Yeah, but I think in our budget, right, we have not been going over budget, and we do have other line items that are not committed. A couple are maintenance focused, so you never know. But we don't actually have a trail sign project, and we don't have a matching grant trail project in motion. And if we did at this point, I think we would want to lean on the rec district for a matching grant for a trail in our town anyway.
Why don't we go ahead and go with better goals, and if those other things come up, then we can start down, so let's push the can down, or kick the can down the road a little bit, and then like you said, if those others come up, just,
We can
push
see where
everybody
we
else
are.
down there.
Awesome, thanks.
What's everyone else thinks that?
Yeah, I think so, because how much are the cheaper ones?
They're quite a bit cheaper actually, which was even, I'd have to look them up, but they were like $1,200 maybe.
But maybe not the new price.
I didn't even ask.
Right.
But it's 2,300 for each, or 2,300 for the two?
With shipping, they're $2387.99. This is like a king show.
For both? For both?
For both,
Yeah.
shipped here.
That's $1,200 for each, so,
Yeah, and was it the old folks football league? Like they play here every Thursday. I checked in with them. They're gonna continue to play here until they need lights and they go to board in the fall. And I think this will make us more attractive anyway, and I'm sure the rec district can, speak up to the other answer as well.
All right, you got to jump in first?
The other topic was, did you say we want?
I said, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
You got it.
The other topic was the fact that we joined the rec district, and I did read their meeting notes, and my name is in it. I could read it verbatim, but it loosely says that they have to get the MOU set up with the state to allow us to join the rec district, and our appointed Moretown representative wouldn't start until the fall, I think it said. But it would be good to get someone sitting in on meetings now, to which they put my name on there. I was wondering if they reached out to you. I also brought this up with the committee, and Mike Stroney on the committee was interested. And because Sam Rosenberg is representative of the airport road nets, or I don't know, what's it called, a soccer park or Matterhorn Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's our town rep for that, I believe. I asked him if he'd be interested, and he also was. And I asked Clark, because he was representing a project at town meeting and pre-meeting, and he's not interested, although he's interested in supporting the initiative and not being on a roll like that. So I did the pre-work. I'm happy to sit in. I don't necessarily need to do that, and maybe Mike or Sam.
How about your bring us, whether you can do it tonight or talk amongst yourself, just come with a candidate you would like to have us appoint, whether you, Sam, or Mike. And we'll go ahead and do that, and we can have them sitting. I have not heard anything, Sasha, I haven't heard anything from you now, so.
Okay. And Sam's not on the rec committee, so it would make sense to me as chair of the rec committee that person at a minimum stays in touch with us.
Yeah.
In representing the town on it, if not be part of the committee. So that would just be, that conversation with anyone else, that'd be a suggestion I would have. It would be logical if we want to have better synergy for rec at the town level.
Yeah, I think that is a very good idea. Might be in there, but why don't you, just you talk amongst yourself, but I think if Mike, pardon me, Sam, if you decide to want to go that way, like you said, you set up a plan with him, say, all right, this is what my expectation would be, is that on a monthly basis we hear from you, or become a member, or whatever you think is appropriate for that, report back to you, and then, you can tell us.
But you also said Mike Strong,
Yeah, he is on the rec committee, so we all.
He said he might want to be on the Matterhorn planning district, no?
He told you that?
No, I thought that's what you just said.
I hope I didn't.
Oh,
That's not what you said, too.
that's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
And he was.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, so Mike was interested in the rec district position, because I asked the committee, I'm sorry.
Oh, I see.
I'm glad you clarified that, and,
Yeah, because here it's the MRV Rec District Board Rep, Sam, is listed on the
Yeah.
positions.
yeah. And I don't really know that position very well, but I believe it's tied to the,
Side of the field, right, just around the park, but we don't have a vote.
Yeah.
we just basically doing a volunteering problem.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, so I guess it's not it wouldn't be my sole choice to choose between the two, but I can bring it up with the two.
I'll bring it up in your committee, so,
Yeah.
and have them come in and talk, and,
I'll see if Sam is
Sam,
Yeah.
maybe Sam will just do both.
well, that's what he said, he would, I think. But
He would be
Chris wants, and
responsible.
Chris thinks, and rightfully so, that he wants to make sure that there's a tie in his committee, because.
Yeah.
Whether it's direct or indirect,
Yeah,
communications makes sense.
right, absolutely, no, I see what you're saying, and I think you have a better handle on that than we do here at this board to figure out who's best for that.
Yeah.
And to make sure that you're getting the communication that you need.
Sorry, I messed that up.
Good.
No. We're just appointing people that we
Yeah, no, but I'll work on that next.
Yeah, what else do we need? Chris, this is their next position, go get a name for me. We also wanted to thank you for taking the time dealing with the story walk and the
Green Mountain Tower.
Green Mountain
Yeah.
Tower.
I'm on an email thread with the subcontractor at GMP, and it's wetter than it was 2 weeks ago in the woods, so we're just gonna wait for it to dry out.
It is good there, so just, the procurement, work with Sasha and, we can get those net, so that.
Awesome, yeah, and we already kind of vetted the paperwork. So.
So go ahead and get those ordered then.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Thank you for your efforts.
All right, so we're moving right along tonight. Sasha, what's the reports in communications, what's there?
I have a letter from Mark Austin. He didn't make his petition in, he would like to be appointed to the cemetery commission.
Awesome. So moved. Second, all in favor, Brian? Aye. Right, Spillway. All right.
We also got that bill for Deb Feldman.
That was the next thing.
Oh,
She would like to be appointed as an alternate for the VRB, and I did talk to John Riley, and he would love to have her.
motion to move so moved to have Deb Feldman be on for the DRB.
Yeah. All in favor? Aye.
Has anybody talked to John Lynch to see if he definitely wants to be the attack?
Well, he did, I haven't talked, wait, did he call me or did he email? He said he would do it. Yeah.
First, so Joyce Manchester, and thank you, Joyce, we should send a letter to her, thanking her from the select board. For her time she's done the attack and then just kind of associate attack. And then we did, or you may or may not have seen the email, sounds like you did, that John Lynch was interested.
Yeah, no, so you were working on the little road thing that we were doing, John was there as well, and so we made the connection between us. He did say he would do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll need to get all his information for them to have at
Yeah.
CBRPC, like phone number and all that.
So-
Yeah, have him send an email to Sasha with a letter of interest and.
Yeah, I don't know how to call you, sometimes he's a little slow on the emails.
Would you like me to schedule the passport and legal trails committee for the next meeting?
So let's take a look. Paula sent, and you sent that out to everyone, did everyone get that? Because I think there were just some small word changes on that, right?
Right, we just did a few little sentence changes and a couple of word changes and stuff like that, so.
So why don't we take a look at that, and then we'll look at it, we'll try to approve it, so put it on our agenda, but we don't need them here
Okay.
unless we, something comes up and after we begin, it's figure that out.
It's been 30 days now since town meeting. Are you good with me ordering the rest of the blinds for the building?
Yeah, and that's passed, and we'll have that.
Okay. Just want to remind everybody about the bridge meeting on Wednesday.
5 o'clock, right?
Yep.
This Wednesday,
Yes.
5 o'clock, and that's before, there's a school meeting at 6 o'clock. So isn't there a school meeting on Wednesday, the 9th?
So,
A board meeting, maybe?
then you
Yeah.
got school board meeting on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think there is, it's
She
at
was
6,
gonna
maybe.
take very
No, I don't, yeah, so I'm saying, so this would be good for me to be back and forth, that kind of
And
one.
we're just meeting right over here, right?
Yeah.
Bridge?
Yeah.
Have you guys thought about a new person to fill John's spot on the local hazard mitigation plan?
I'm not on the,
Management plan, I'm sorry. Local emergency management plan. That needs to be done and sent in this month.
and what's that detail?
Is that on this list that we have?
No, this is something that we send to CBRPC, and he's like a command, kind of like, I don't know, as though he ever really did much, but
That's
like
when,
after the flood, we had,
yeah, that's, the only time that comes in, I do remember when it's kind of an emergency
like a command
situation,
center type of thing.
you know, you're the, head of the command center, because I remember it drove down actually crazy because you had to stay there, you couldn't go anywhere, and it was at the fire station. I remember he was like, I want to go out and talk to people, which I didn't, that's what John, Clark and I were doing, and he had to stay there, so,
Yeah.
which is kind of a nice title.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm seeing, I don't know if that's, we also have John, who's the stormwater management MRGP person. He was the Moretown Local Service Committee, John. I'm looking at the list from last year, so maybe this is a good time.
Yeah.
But I was thinking we should review this just to see, you know,
Yeah, I'm good.
who's who, right? Does everybody remember this? Right?
Sasha, is the machine running the core copy running? Do you mind making it?
I think it's not the other copy.
Waiting for everybody else?
Yeah.
I don't know if you need to copy all 3 sheets, though. That was from the meeting.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, there's a few names on there that you might have to put
I have
mics,
to-
you might have to put mics next to that.
What the box down?
But Mike,
Once you get to,
Yeah.
now you just want to get a new title tonight.
Right, yeah.
Add another.
Command center,
Yes.
yeah,
whatever.
Doesn't need.
Stormwater Command Center, right?
Kids would love that too. You can get a hat, you know, it's really, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, there was upset shipping company.
Yeah. Definitely great,
He likes
Let's
it.
see.
I know, I just was like, I have to go right now. And,
No, during the summer, I'll make it, because we try to run them pretty quick anyways.
Well, it's, yeah, because I mean,
It's light and we can go outside and go outside.
Yeah, it makes way more sense. I mean, it's pretty nice out tonight, but yeah, she
He's
was
got
like,
a cold, but that's,
That's cool, over there, interesting.
yeah. How's it?
Yeah.
it's good. She's she's doing exercises now. She still has to wait like about a month before she's like cleared to go back and stuff.
That's great.
But, yeah, so she's,
Thank you.
the exercises every day.
There is that.
So I'll start right with the top down, and then we can get the.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so we have 10 viewers, I assume, John and
Continue.
Ray will continue, and Sheila is agent to convey real estate. Town hall rental coordinator is the librarian, right? That's Cory, we could put her name in. And then Nicole. So tree warden, we have Eric House as the alternate, and John was the.
And that would make so much sense.
Yes, that might be like,
Yeah, that would be perfect. for me.
Yeah.
I would think. Actually, Eric kind of, well, I think he was up country, but at least you know where he should.
Well, there's also making decisions on some trees, and there was,
Yeah, no, that's why I think Mike is perfect for
Yeah.
that, and those trees, that's his job.
Stefan for the fire warden, because that's appointed by the state. Inspection of lumber or shingles will, we recall them, let's go back a ways.
Is he still alive? Is he machine? As long as he's alive, let's keep it there.
He's still doing it. Is Richard Valentine still want to be the health officer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Deputy health officer, well, we have a vacancy there. I don't know if we could do that. Maybe we could put that out there. Well,
Yeah, as we get done, maybe then I think we should send everything out.
Yeah. Town attorney Ron Shams, the papers we know of, right? So, good, and river resource solid waste alliance.
John and Doug.
Hopefully. So we just talked about the next one, I want to be rec district board rep, so that's right now Sam. Maybe it'll be that and
And the other one is.
the other one. Stefan, I assume, is still doing the animal control. Carol on the zoning.
Is Carol, whoops, Carol's a 9112.
Oh, she is, yeah, good.
And she's doing stuff on the website too.
Yeah, she's also doing stuff on the website. So would those two people still be involved? Was she now website administrator? Is JB still involved?
JB's still doing hours, so I don't think he's completely
It's
stopped.
not, yeah, she is not good at totally taking over, but so he'd be like a second on that, but.
So maybe take
hopefully,
Chuck off.
Yeah, take a Chuck off.
Energy coordinator, I assume Kara still wants to be doing that,
We'll hear different.
Stefan for the emergency management,
Mm-hmm.
Central Bond Regional Planning Commission. I think Dave, I'm not sure if, he didn't say anything, so I guess
Yeah, he's
still
good there.
Yeah. Now we just changed, I don't think he wants to be the alternate on the TAC, but, and now I'll confirm John Lynch, but, I'll get his contact, he told me he was. And I guess Pete Dave is the alternate.
Yeah.
Historical Society, Robin and Smith, the other day we do that. I'll still be in the library, town hall board, custodian, what? Custodian?
You're gonna be just
No, what is that? I don't
a
know.
liaison with the custodian.
I don't think.
You're not gonna be the custodian.
No. I guess the rec committee, that was to meet the liaison to the rec committee, so now John obviously can't do that.
Well, you've been doing that.
I've been doing it,
Yeah,
so I
just keep that, yeah.
So clerk treasurer, Todd, and you've been doing that.
Yeah,
So,
since you've been doing that.
Want anybody else on that, or?
Yeah.
Good.
You know, why don't you put Mike behind me, because in that way he doesn't have to, but in case there's someone else, he's.
You're out of town.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you need to shake up the town arbiter.
Animal control is
We
Robin,
went through
you.
all these last meeting.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe we hadn't done the ones before. Well, we can
Yeah.
do the storm water management and the Moretown Local Service Committee, because those are the two that we had.
Well, we did the local service committee.
We did?
Yeah,
That's
Me.
Oh, okay.
the stormwater is not really
Anymore.
anymore,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
We're still
Going more fast.
and that's me.
no, yeah, it's.
Okay.
Have
Yeah, we go.
more things, have you heard anything from them at all, or? You should send them out there, because usually we see a contract or they're doing anything right now, or if they're still doing that, or what they're doing.
And then how about this last page?
What was the last page? Well, that's stuff that we already did.
Is it up here? No, I don't know, we still need.
Financial review committee, well, we do have, that is Jason on that.
She didn't make copies of us.
No, I.
So Jason's on that, John is on that, Linda Hazard, Cheryl Brown, Mike DeBonis,
I was trying to
and Mike Brown is our representative here from the board.
I can give you this piece of paper.
That's CDS, CSPAB, the state police, Tom Jeanette and Clarence Wood will be that, Ridge to Rivers. And that was Dara and John.
Just this.
It was Dara at this point. That economic development, we just get rid of that. It was me and Don, we have not done anything with it.
That one.
CD Fiber, Chuck, Bert, Karen, and Sam. That's still. Agent to prosecute defense suits, that's vacant. Here's the Morfest committee, Michelle, Lindsay, and Stefan, so check for those folks. CBRPC Clean Body Advisory Board, Joyce and John, is that?
Yep.
No longer John, but can you check with her?
I'll check with Joyce to see
On
if
that.
that,
Let's see if that's something that she's
Should
still
start by it.
in the service committee, Sherilyn, Michelle, Mary Bolton, and Sasha.
so,
And then the rest of the stuff
what
was.
is the road crew, you and I, fire department, Okay, cool. Oh,
Big Sasha.
So who's volunteered to do local emergency management plan?
the what?
Who's volunteering to do the local emergency management?
Where we
plan?
got the started.
Huh?
Where this whole thing started from.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, back to the original question.
Because it's due to CVRPC soon.
Oh,
You know, I'll go ahead and put my name there.
You're already on it though.
Yeah, am I? I thought I went to those. Is that an alternate?
EOC director is what you are.
so what is the other person?
So put Mike on the other one.
What's the EOC, the Emergency Operations Command person? or-
Probably something like that.
Yeah.
So very impressive, so no.
You want to put Mike Brown?
Mike Brown, unless he really objects.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah. Would I be the person that could go walk around, or Tom would be the person that could go walk
Now
around?
I get to walk around. Yeah, you get to sit back, but you get to direct stuff. You wear the biggest hat.
Right. It's like they probably want someone who like,
Go ahead, say it, someone.
like a little more intuitive, nothing that an idiot would
Oh, I thought you were talking about me being up top.
Oh, no, I'm not like the person who's like telling people what to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, you'd be perfect. I mean, look at us here.
Right.
The CC emergency management.
So yeah, you see who you're telling me.
There's a lot of redundancy there.
So, but yeah,
There.
he just will tell you.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So that, how do you decide that?
I think that's it.
All right, Ms. Kelly?
So, class 4 legal trail committee met,
Nice.
finalized all of that. We had a small group, so I didn't ask them anything about ATVs.
Okay.
We had a tiny group, but I think it may be good just to put feelers out if we wanted to form a committee for that,
Okay.
just to see, so we may.
Why don't you work with Sasha, how you want that worded, and then she can send it out.
So we can put it out to get people, I don't know, to see if people are interested, then we can coordinate.
Right, and try to get.
Yeah, or maybe even the folks that were on the trails and class 4 road community, maybe they'd be.
Well, that's what she was really gonna do, but there wasn't a lot of people there, so she
Yeah,
No,
so we're
I
a small
mean,
group, and
figured them as well.
so there was that. There was also, I just noticed it because there was an email that came in talking about legal trails. They're talking about it in the legislature right now. There's a bill to kind of from what it sounded like, define what towns can do with legal trails in regards to maintenance, but also protecting. What we can do is to kind of not requiring us to do this stuff, but saying you can do more. So there's a bill in the legislature right now about that. I just popped up in a BLC email, so.
Yeah, there's an article in one digger too, if you search for it or something.
Yeah, I think it passed on, I think that's what, yeah.
Yeah, this is in regards to maintenance on legal trails.
Nothing to do with like, keep maintaining it as a public right of way or like none of that's in there.
It's basically giving towns more push, like the more, usually more rules, but basically saying like you're not required to do certain things. So it's saying you can do things,
Right.
but you're not required. So I think it's clarifying a lot of that.
Are they required to now technically?
Oh.
Okay.
No, I think we just clarified some of this,
Yeah.
state, because sometimes you do read it, it's like, people come into us, like, are you supposed to do this? And then you fall back, it's nothing nagging or it's can't, so I'm just clarifying.
Right.
Okay,
Gotcha.
so that was there. I've just noticed walking the dog on the road, there's been a lot of speeding in our area.
Sasha, if you want to let the deputies know, we can.
Or it could not be speeding, but it's a lot of people who just aren't being respectful. People walking on the roads, and it's funny because the four runners that have gone around the class 4 loop were the most respectful people that I've seen in probably 2 weeks.
What times are you out walking that you see these people a lot of times?
Oh, usually anywhere between 4:30 and 7.
In the evening, yeah.
Yeah. Most people.
Yeah, so we'll ask, yeah, that's
They go by, I can tell you exactly who they are.
right. Yeah, we're just have the deputies trying to up there, and then when it gets dry enough, we'll make sure that step on, and he's pretty good about moving his machine around, or our machine, the speed machine.
And they may not be speeding, but they're coming by quick,
Disrespectful.
they're not slowing down, they're not moving over.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, a problem that's.
That's a 35 too, close to 35 on that road. See, we did buy change some speed signs to 30s, we didn't, I forget how many we bought, but to start the process, so we could actually just go on that right now and decide which road we would want to maybe first start that with, could be that, could be Pony Farm Road, Powell's Road, where people could just think about it, we talk about it at the next meeting. And I think we got like 5 30-mile-an-hour signs.
I think so.
So
While we're on that subject, there's a machine for digging posts and putting them in, and I know it's gonna take a lot of, with this initiative of doing more speed
Right.
signs so that we can get more enforcement done, so Davis can do the tickets. They're gonna need to do more digging, and I guess there's a machine, it's like $3,200. I'm wondering if that's something that you guys
we gotta
could think
think about
about
that and down the road for
to get
next
done
year.
quick.
Yeah, I think
Or
that's
maybe
something
even fall
different.
under the law enforcement budget line.
Yeah, I think what to do, maybe
Close
bring us
to it.
some information on that. Yep. But that is a good idea. And so Don, I think that's a good idea, but I think we should probably have that as an agenda item. An agenda item as far as where we want to put those roads. But Sasha, if you could send out a reminder to everyone, or if we have how many signs for us.
I'll go down, we could look it up.
Yeah, figure it out and then what our parameters would be, so we can make a decision, informed decision.
Which could be our first one to do.
Right, whether it's a stretcher road or whether it's
Right.
whatever. So let us just know what we need to approve or not, or debate.
It looks like the Culver Junction Road's getting done, hopefully starting July 1.
Right, so,
I don't know why they're starting July 1, because that's a weird week to start, but.
the reason they're doing July 1 is the same, the reason we're doing at the Jonesbrook doesn't start until July 1st, and it's because of warrant. It's the permits, through the water
With the
and
state.
with the state, and you can't start until July 1st.
Because the state was a fiscal.
Right. Patrick, and I think his name is Patrick, indicated depending on the weather, he may be able to issue this a little bit earlier.
That's what Ray said, because I was like, they're starting July 1st. I was like, so they're gonna work
Yeah, so.
2 days, 3 days, and then.
So that would make sense, but it looks like I have some other updates as far as the construction and money and stuff as well. But
No, we just saw that, so I know that would be a thing, because we still got a huge pile of dirt and blocks and culverts that are sitting there.
Yeah, and I asked him about that, and so if you want to, actually reach out to Ray directly.
Sean's just gonna call you, Ray,
Okay,
because he deals with it.
okay, as long as he knows, but, he's said he just needs to know exactly what, and he, Ray said, well, they want to plant some Christmas trees, and there's a road, and he wants to know, he's, I said, I don't have any idea. I'll ask Callie tonight, but he also said that if there's anything being done out of the right of way, that he agreed with having a signed agreement, with you guys directly, and that Ray talking to him today about that.
Yeah.
So
So that's-
you guys will be taking care of your stuff and put back the way it should be.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Keep it.
Good. Anything else, Cal?
No, I think that's it.
Mike, how you doing?
Good.
Anything for us that you?
Well, I already talked to Donnie briefly about it, but, the hedges by the fire station are on town land.
Yep.
And I did talk to, the neighbor, Deb Carroll.
Yeah.
She wasn't home, but yeah, they're on ours, so we can trim them as desired and talk to them.
Good.
Probably just touch base with her, if she wants her side trim.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, so, I think that was the primary thing I had. Yeah, it's not too much.
Yeah, I know you had, did you meet with Beards on here as well?
I did, yeah, and he said he was maybe gonna come tonight, but he obviously didn't. Yeah, and I talked to you about that, but then,
So there is a meeting scheduled for the 16th, April 16th at 8 a.m. And it's going to be basically Ray Daigle, as he indicated last fall, it's kind of smoothing the drainage over there. So Ray's going to take care of that. They're having an engineer there. And his email is that at that point they would decide further steps. So I think we can kind of let the school handle that at this point, make sure it's being done. But I think it's something that Ray is taking responsibility for moving forward with.
right, and I don't know how, Kevin Beard was saying, like, beyond the playground, and I feel like it's always been wet there, there's like a puddle now. And he was saying it was just because they staged equipment there and kind of like made it lower, and so it almost seems like some dirt should be brought in to like raise that area, and then because right now the ditch goes around the back of the playground and comes and it just spreads out, right, and it keeps going along the Beard's property and then around the corner again to the new drain between their property and the school. So it's almost, and I guess that'd be something to coordinate with Kate too, if she was interested in that. But like right now, like there was like geese in there last week when I went and looked at it.
Yeah, I think that's what Ray plans on addressing. That's part of the whole thing. So,
Okay.
That's what I'm getting from it. And if not, then if we have to adjust it at that point, it becomes our responsibility, then let's certainly do it because we're truly ponding up water there, so we have to projects in as well. So.
Right. Oh yeah, I think well, I don't know if you, yeah, but then I did walk up Fox Farm Run too and look at that. And so I don't know if you want to discuss that now or not.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, there's 2 new pipes in, and I have you guys want my one for one. So and I don't know if the first pipe was an issue, but there's like a brand new 12-inch culvert or 15-inch culvert pretty low down, and then but I think the pipes that actually were the problem, where there was 2 pipes. There's now a new like 3-footer, but they didn't remove the old pipes. They just put the new pipe on top of the old pipes as like an overflow. So the 2 old pipes that are like smashed and probably mostly full of sediment are still moving water. Like when I was up there, they were moving all the water through the brook, but you can, like the mouth of them was completely underwater. with gravel against them, and then you can see water coming out the downstream side. And then the new 3-foot pipe is there, I guess, in their eyes, essentially it's just like an overflow. Right, so like if it rains much and then those, because I went up there, it was kind of cold and it hadn't really rained, so there wasn't a whole lot of water moving. Right, so those two half
So if
functioning.
the water's going up here, it's gonna fill in the pipes because it's water's, it's not going in the pipes, but it's coming out.
I think it's probably working its way in there, like on the downstream side, I can show you, like, it's definitely coming out the pipes, but like, you know, there's enough silt has come down, there's like silt in front of the pipes,
That's
or somewhere in front of them, and so it's probably half full of silt. So a little bit of water the other day, like those pipes are handling water, and then the new pipe was completely dry.
For a lot of water, it would handle that.
Right, but it seems like, yeah, so I think
Would it go over the bank before? it went-
no, the way it is, like, it would catch it. I mean, from a functional standpoint, I think it would, like, fixes the potential problem of that
The
failing.
shape and why they do it like that.
Right, it seems like it would make a lot more sense to just have put in a 3-foot pipe and, like, got rid of the two.
You think they
Half
did
function.
that because it was the end of the season, they're like, we'll throw us on top and.
I don't really know. I mean, I just, like, it seems like I don't know, it seems like everyone would have been better off with just the one new pipe, but, I mean, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's not.
It's there.
Right, I mean, when you look at it, like, I'll show you guys a picture after, you look at it, like, well, I guess in a heavy rain event, like, that would then catch the water and send it across the road and not down the hill. So I guess,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike. Anything else, Mike?
No, I think that's it, you know?
Well, I was just, I think, do we have two support letters that we're supposed to do? One for CV Fiber, we got an email about, and another one for the Moretown Family Forest, that Karen sent us out,
I think
you know?
I got from that email that they
Which
had
one?
already, Karen, they had already done it and she was
Okay,
just
I could-
copying.
Yeah, first, yeah.
Alright,
And the other one, I forgot about the CB fiber one. I can plug in all the information if you guys want me to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
okay. You're gonna be giving us an update, you said, on the FEMA
Yes.
costs and all that. So, I would like to, bring up an idea that I think the town should pursue and the select board should organize, which is I think we need to have, a facilities committee or a building and grounds, or building maintenance and grounds committee or something that would have one select board rep. I mean, this would be something like planning board, DRP, something to go, you know, to go from now forward, you know? Because there's no fingers to point or anything, but all our buildings need work, and they need to be watched, you know, as time goes by, you know? I mean, even with what needs to be done right now, we don't have the money in the budget to do everything that we need to do in all the different buildings. And to have it for, you know, I was thinking about it as I started to work on it, and it's, you know, it would be a higher position almost if you were, you know, you'd have a project manager sort of thing, but I think this is a way the town could tackle it by having like a facilities committee. You know, I'd be happy to be the first rep for the select board and then try to find 2 or 3, 4 other people to be on this committee that could meet, you know, whatever.
I think it's a good idea. Why don't you write something up? And kind of what you said, come from the heart. See, this is what we're looking for. And we have these beautiful facilities. It's a, you know, the select board is a transitional thing for people. We need to get something in our employees. We need to get something consistent oversight of buildings.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you know, we have a great thing going on now with like Christine's and an oversight of the fields and the committee of
The forest
and the forest, things like that.
Not like with the
And
forest.
so now we need something for our buildings.
Right.
And I think if you put it out like that, and you're, rather than just looking for something to get on this committee, you're like, that's on that.
No.
But if you kind of say it like this and get them behind a little bit more the heart of why we need that, then I think you'll get some quality people that have, construction experience, engineering experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, there's one person already who's approached me after a meeting, the last meeting, which is Jeff Oberman, so he's interested in helping. So, okay, I will,
Get something else.
let's get it rolling. Yeah, I think it would be a good way for the town to go forward with keeping an eye on its buildings, okay? So that was that one. We don't have any, maybe I'll reach out to Sherilyn just to see where we are with the sidewalks and such.
She did tell me, yes, one thing that they made progress today, or not today, but as far as getting the agreement with the post office.
Okay, great.
Excuse me. So that's the only thing I've heard there.
Okay. No, because as we go forward to coordinate the crosswalks.
Right.
And so to get those
So there's
on the
been
radar, and there's, of course, it'll be funded. I mean, I don't know where funding is gonna come for the Gallagher Acres sidewalk, but that's another day we can talk about that. And, yeah, that's good, I'm good. I can save some stuff for the next meeting.
all right, so a couple things we had come up. I don't know if you would question, we had a repair, emergency repair on Mountain Road that had been done about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, by Hallstrom. Was it?
It was last week.
Was it last week?
Yeah.
It's not we ended up having, or Hallstrom came in, it was work that they had done this fall, so there's a question whether it's warranty work or not. We've gotten a couple of bills from them, but I checked on it and the work wasn't complete. And today I have videos of it and it's still not, it wasn't a good job. So at this point, I've told Sasha not to go ahead and report on that. I need to talk to Martin a little bit about it, just in case that comes up. There's some questions there on that.
Is Martin still on?
He's still on disability, but he's done well. In fact, he's probably done too much, but he's moving around. I think that's what they
Good, I mean, yeah, that's what I was, he's getting around.
He's getting around.
He went well, the procedure. Good.
And he must have been in, he left a note with the guys over the weekend, and there were some things to do, get done or something.
Oh, I thought I saw his truck. That's what
So losing,
Okay.
things are going to follow up. So actually, the guys are going to go out and repair that, so we'll have it done correctly, and so it doesn't wash out any more than it is. But I will talk to Martin and see what his thoughts are on the repair. The other thing we had, I did speak to Ray earlier today, and Sasha, if you could put him on the agenda for our next meeting. He was able to give me a few little updates. One of them that the Ward Brook stuff, actually they're going to be in there early May, kind of finishing up that stuff, they can do that. And then the Jones Brook, July 1st, depending on bar levels, excuse me. So the million, let's see. So we had talked about, I had from this schedule here, expected payment in 3 of 25, so in March, $1,589,025.85. We have not received that yet.
That's for 2023.
This is for 2023. However, in the last 2 weeks, through the FEMA system, it has moved forward. So, and Ray's did speak with them, and the checks in the mail, of course, but they say now within a couple of weeks they're expecting to have it, and that's why Ray wants to come in next week, or next week, because he's anticipating if it doesn't have it, he'll have an exact date for us at that point. Because it's moving in the right direction. It's went from pending something now to in that particular approval or something, pending approval, that's an approval, I think. And then for the other Lover's Lane project that also, which, you know, we haven't started or done, but they're still looking at that. That project is moving along, and they're at this point, they're looking at options of replacing the bridge or replacing some of the road and things like that. It appears that the bridge would be the least expensive option, and also probably the better option as far as looking long term. Because the other stuff we don't
The way that's gonna
just keep on and, you know, spend lots of money. That's really.
And that's still a 2023.
Yeah, well, so that's why that's a little bit complicated, because there was some damage there this year as well in '24. So that's taking a little bit more time with that. Those are the projects that we have going, and then there's another $5 million of stuff that it's all in the queue, but it's a lot of, you know, and this is mitigation stuff, so it may or may not happen, but you know, we'll know more about that in a couple of weeks from Grace here. But it is, you know, obviously they said, you know, sorry for the delays, but there's been a little bit of chaos in the federal government. So, needless to say,
I've been reading in other parts of the country where some FEMA funds are being,
pulled back.
you know.
Yeah, and so that's why it was good news that it was, you know,
At least the
it moved forward.
2023,
Right.
2024 was a number.
And so we have, you know, July 1st, we have, you know, the manuals to be paid. So we're going to
July 1st, to be paid for the 2023 law.
right. And then we start.
Then we have the 2024 law.
Right. We start at that point. So.
Okay.
And then in between that one and two, you know, I have been working with Cheryl on how we're going to close that deficit on our tax rate, because we had, you know, the shortage of it was under 80,000 this year. If you look in the book, you see what it was. I don't, so I'm not going to forget that. You know, that's basically, that was FEMA's emergency work that was done, paid for it. We got a loan, it's how to move back and pay for it. So we're just working with it. It's more, in my mind, it's more logistics than it is really, so we're working on that anyways to make sure that we can present a town tax rate that people can afford.
Right.
Which, I guess that's it as far as that stuff. We got Joyce Winchester, we want to make sure we thanked her. Anything else actually forgetting that we're supposed to be able to do? All right, is any business from below? I think Sasha, you talked about ATV stuff. You're gonna put something together, work with Sasha on something there. Don, I saw you got again from Nick on condensation of the large. That's
Well, no, he's, I just sent him an email.
right. What I'm saying is
Just because we got that, Sasha forwarded, we got a quote for the heating system,
Yeah.
which kind of, I didn't know there's some issues there, but I forwarded it to Nick so that we can include that in our overview of what's going on. So, yeah.
a reminder.
Do you want me to keep you both in the loop when I'm working on that, or just get enough emails?
Yeah.
I don't need to send it to you.
You know, or send let Sasha know.
Yeah, keep Sasha and keep it in the folder.
Or she keeps it in the folder in case there's other questions and things like that. If it's, you know, something
Right, yeah, no.
holy crap, or someone let you know on the news, so you know. Reminding everyone of the April 21st meeting we have at school board members, so if there's any school board stuff, between now and then.
Right, yeah.
I am going to try to get to the meeting on Wednesday. I think it's
Is it on Wednesday?
the 9th. I think that's what I can see.
At 6 in the library or something.
6 in the library. We have our meeting here at the bridge, so
Right.
you know we can remind each other or tell each other about go to Emily's or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Our families.
That's another good.
There's something with that. And I don't see anything under new, though, nothing's wrong good. Yeah, all right. So we have pretty side.
This is the water fire protection contract.
Carry
And then the overloads and liquor licenses.
That's a user should tell you that makes sense. I can still just.
So this is, how did you guys come out when you were sending the, I know, the bill for the,
Nothing back yet.
nothing back yet?
This is which one is
That's, which I can't work paying down there and that's,
oh, I already signed up. I don't really sign up. liquor list rates for the tech. Well, we don't think we go off the same.
No, just in case you wanted to use your,
I don't want somebody parties.
there are some parties you haven't invited to, right? Or me, or
This one says town lodge personal party. Yeah.
just a,
Yeah, sure.
hey, Sasha, could you look into number two, the metal cycle that we have there? Their permit was like a 2-year permit. Originally they were 5, and we switched it to 2.
Did you sign these together?
3. Can you just look into that and see? Because otherwise, I mean, regardless, I want Cheryl to go by there, but it looks like it needs a little bit of that.
Oh, wait, no, this came in the information. What's this? Oh, this is not good.
Oops.
Where you sign?
It's amazing how many businesses use our stuff. We wonder why they, didn't do it.
The thing with those is you're supposed to fill them out in every town that you're driving through.
Yes, I think it's people too. I know, I see businesses from all over the state in here, so they must cover it, do it right, and the way you say, you know, carry over the,
Well, they know everything not, but they're only getting.
or they know what a town's enforces it, so they.
Exactly. Exactly.
Or if you're only going there once,
Yeah, just pick a chance, right?
you're just dropping a piece of equipment.
Yep.
So like, those are just those permits that must have been passed. So yeah, that's working in what it's like. Sorry, Sasha.
Okay.
Signature.
It's all good.
I was angry. Look at it.
Make a motion to adjourn. Oh, we didn't approve the minutes, right? Thank you, Kevin.
It's good thing we had her here. We were testing her. I was going to say, you know, this one said that never used or ever. So I would make a motion to approve the minutes of March 17th, 2025. Great, March 17th. Any discussion on minutes?
Oh, yeah.
No, you have any? All right.
I'll second.
Taylor, any good?
Oh, okay.
I was just asking, that's what I was comparing. All in favor of them?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so now, probably.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, right?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Taylor, Matt, for TV, time tonight.